Okay, so as everybody knows, I'm not the biggest fan of social media. I don't love being on social media, but in the last couple months, I have found some really interesting momentum on LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn. Of all the boring places you could spend your time in your life, LinkedIn has been actually giving me some love. So I want to just share a couple little strategies here that I think are relevant for anybody that are looking to get on podcasts, looking to tour your signature workshop. It all started a couple months ago. We went down to Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. Huge business conference. We met a lot of people. Everybody was sharing their LinkedIn profile. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to go update my bio. That way, if anybody searches me on LinkedIn, that it'll be more relevant than what it was before. And so I did that. Um, I never made a post or anything. And then when we decided to sell Magic Kids, I started to reach out to people on LinkedIn. And I was blown away at how quickly and easily folks respond on LinkedIn versus trying to track down, executives at companies via their email address and through like the company directory. And so I have just recently, Yodo is one of the big kids audio brands out there. They have an audio player and they license stories, and they're probably the biggest or one of the biggest in the world. And we've been courting them for a year. I managed to, through my lawyer, I got the email of their CEO. He tried passing me off to one of their other teams, never heard back. Followed up with him 3 times, never heard back. And so finally, I'm like, I'm just going to go check out LinkedIn. And so I go to the Yodo page on LinkedIn and I click on the people tab in their company. And all of a sudden, I see all of these acquisition people that acquire the content for Yodo. And so I sent a handful of cold messages to them, just introducing myself and what we're up to at Magic Kids. And then lo and behold, one of their acquisition guys got back to me. He's like, "This looks super cool. Would love to talk. Let's schedule a time." So a month later, we met. He ended up listening to some of our stories before the meeting, which I was really impressed by. And he's like, "I love everything that you're doing. This is definitely a fit." And so now their whole team is going through our Magic Kids stories, our music, and our meditation library. And it was just like a simple little connection on LinkedIn. So then, through that Yodo connection, somebody found me somehow. I don't know how the algorithm works, but somebody got recommended to me who also does strategic acquisitions and in the audio and video space. And so she gave me a nudge on LinkedIn, and I checked out her profile. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like the angel we've been looking for Magic Kids. So her and I talked yesterday. She's so excited about what we do. Her whole career has been built around licensing partnerships in all sorts of different niches. And so she is talking about through her networks that she's established in her career, getting us on airplanes, putting us through the library system, the school
Oh,
system, putting us, there's a bunch of different apps that she's connected to. And so, 45-minute conversation yesterday, got an email from her today. She's super excited. She's going through all the researching and checking out all of our stuff so that she knows how to pitch us to each of her partners that she brings clients to. And, with her particular arrangement, there's no upfront fee. It's just a 15% commission on the money she generates for us, which is what we were doing anyways when I hired somebody locally to do outreach for our licensing partnerships. And so all of a sudden, it's like through a couple little LinkedIn um, connections, there's all of this new momentum, new licensing partnerships. Every time we sign a licensing partnership for Magic Kids, our company evaluation goes up. And that's just a good thing to have when you're selling a company. So, a couple of the things that I've been learning is I've just been playing around a little bit on LinkedIn and finding people. Just yesterday through LinkedIn, I had a big podcast reach out to me, and we just booked a podcast for them. But one of the things is they call it the Boolean search, so you can combine words. So you could say, podcast host and and mindfulness or something like that. So then all of a sudden, the search terms are going to give you all of the different podcast hosts and mindfulness people. And then you can find those people. And then you can also go in and find the second degree of connections that they have and see who's inside of their network. So it's just like a really great way to get immediate access to folks who seem to be really responsive, which has surprised me after being away from social for so long. The second thing is what I mentioned earlier is like you can go to companies like Mind Valley or what I did with Yodo. And if you click on the people tab, all of a sudden you're going to get who some of these people are. You could get access straight to the CEO. You could reach out to the salespeople. You could reach out to whoever's head of partnerships at these bigger companies. And you could do a little pitch inside of LinkedIn and ask if they're interested in a conversation or a partnership. Um, the other thing that I've been noticing a little bit is some people have in their profiles open to collaboration, public speaker, workshop host, etc. Those are people that are clearly looking for relationships to grow their business. They're looking for partnerships. When you see those in the profiles, you know it's somebody who's probably going to get back to you if you reach out. So those are really great leads to run with. Um, I think the other is like there's so many people on there and what I found is like I find Magic Media and what we do here is kind of in the conscious business, conscious creator space, purpose-driven creators. And it's been fun to make some connections with people that are hosting really fun conversations around business and entrepreneurship, but they're a lot more mainstream. And I come in with my unorthodox approach to marketing, to business development, to creatorship. And they seem really lit up at the uniqueness of the topics that I bring to the conversations in the podcast. And so I've been getting some really awesome traction over there because a lot of the people on LinkedIn are a little bit more mainstream. Some of them have massive audiences and they've been very responsive. So you're going to find a different type of market probably if you're searching through LinkedIn. Um, and then the other little thing is that you can explore through mutual connections. So if you find somebody and you have a spark of energy, you can go through and see what kind of mutual connections you might have in there. And then you could reach out and be like, hey, I saw that you know so and so. And I just wanted to reach out and it looks like you're doing this cool thing. This is what I'm doing. Are you interested in some form of collaboration? So just going to take 5 minutes. Whether you have a LinkedIn profile set up or not, you could go do some searching, but pick a niche. So, for example, if it was Magic Kids, conscious parenting and audio stories. So I would search those two things, put quotations beside each of them, and then I would search LinkedIn and try and find 10 potential collaborators, whether it's podcasts, hosts, etc., and then just make my list, put that list into a CRM, a spreadsheet. If you've been in the signature workshop training, then you know you have your partnership spreadsheet all set up. And just practice with like when you go to each one, look at what they're doing, notice the posts that they do, go to their website, and then just like have a really light pitch, not a big long email, just a specific thing. Hey, I noticed this is what you're up to. This is what I'm doing. I see some synergy. Would you be open to exploring sometime? So we're just going to take 5 minutes just to practice the searching and see if you can come up with some names. Uh, yeah, because I have been absolutely delighted and inspired at how easy it's been. You know, a year of trying on through Yodo's platform, through their CEO, etc. All of a sudden, I just reach out cold to one of their guys, and presto, we finally got our foot in the door. And that's been the case with some of the conversations around selling Magic Kids is booking meetings and finding interest there as well. So, you know, as much as I dislike social media, I don't feel inspired to post over there, but I've been finding it's been a useful tool for making connections. And in business, And in life, it's all about relationships. And so, if we can find easier, simpler ways to find the connections that are going to matter the most, so that we don't need 10,000 followers, we just need a handful of connections. This is one thing that's been really useful for me in the last little bit. So, I'm going to encourage you to do it. And I'll share the exercise in the chat. And if you're watching this on the internet somewhere, I'll share a recap of all these things that I've just mentioned. And I hope it's helpful.